Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Mike Brown here with Remax in Toronto. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Hope you had a good one. Hope the luck of the Irish is with all of us through the balance of this year. It's an exciting time of year for me as a realtor because we're past the March break and we're heading into the spring market, and buyers are thinking about buying and sellers are thinking about selling. So this is traditionally the time of year where I start to get sort of a feeling as to what the balance of the year has in store and whether or not it's going to be favoring the buyer or the seller. So for the purpose of today's episode, I thought we'd take a look at sort of two different things. Where the inventory is today and where it was historically when we saw a big shift in the market, and what these numbers mean and what they might be telling us about what's in store for the balance of the year. So let's just start off with the basic numbers. Today, throughout the GTA, we have slightly more product on the market than we did last year. Percentage-wise, probably about 10 to 15% more available homes for sale today than we did have a year ago. And when we had a real seismic shift in the market, the time I'm going to refer to is 2017. At this point in time in 2017, we had historically low inventory throughout the GTA. But after the March break and up until the end of May, we saw the inventory across the region triple. And that was a significant increase in a very short period of time. And if any of you remember, throughout that early part of 2017, that really translated into the average price of a home dropping by more than 20%. Pretty significant. You know, just even between this time last year and today, again, we have about 10, 15% more product on the market. By the time the inventory peaked last year, around May, June, we saw the average price in the GTA drop about 10%. Just from that amount of product that came to the market. So I think we're really at a really key juncture. We've got a lot of people who are going to be renewing their mortgages, more so than perhaps the 5 and 7 years before. So that's obviously going to add into the mix. And it's interesting to note that back in 2017, when we had that massive inventory bump, a 5-year mortgage was available for around 4.65%. And believe it or not, today, as a matter of fact, I have friends who just renewed their mortgage last week for 5 years. They got a rate of 4.89. So not a huge difference in 5-year money. Three-year money back in 2017 was cheaper, where 3-year money today is more expensive. And obviously, we're at a different time. We're dealing with inflationary pressure. We've got a higher bank rate. I believe the prime lending rate back in 2017 was about 3.5, so currently we're at 5%, and obviously that stress has affected the market, which means that perhaps we could actually see another incident where we see a dramatic increase in available product. Now let's talk a little bit more about the metrics and the information that I'm making available with this channel, because to me it's all about the numbers and trying to help a buyer and a seller identify a good penetration point to either purchase or sell a house. In the information, you're going to see that the number of percentage increase or decrease is either in red or blue. And obviously, if there's a number in blue, we're seeing the inventory drop. If the number's in red, we're seeing the inventory increase. And that may be kind of counterintuitive to believing whether or not the market's hot or cold, but that's the system that I've chosen to work with. Red indicates listing inventory going up. Blue indicates listing inventory is dropping. And if there's a green number in there, it just means it's even from the previous reported segment, which was 2 weeks previously. Additionally, I've been tracking the percentage of sold conditional on a daily basis. And what I'm reading into that number, and it's kind of obvious, is that if that percentage of sold conditional is, higher or is increasing, that's telling me that the market's favoring the buyer, that buyers are being more conservative in their pursuit for real estate, and they're submitting more conditional offers. If that number turns blue, it means it's decreasing, and that's going to tell me that the market is creating more urgency for the buyer, and they're going to do their homework before they submit their offer, and there's fewer conditional sales taking place. Now, even in the condominium market, where the majority of sales are conditional, pending review of the status certificate, there are lots of condos that come to the market where the status certificate is ready for the buyer and the agent and the lawyer to review the minute they see the property. Therefore, they could actually circumvent a conditional offer and submit an offer that's firm. So it's not as telling in the condo market, but it does still give me some insight as to whether it's favoring the buyer or the seller. And, the only other caveat to add is that the condominium market is by nature a little bit more spongy, soft than the freehold market, and it's probably an area of the market that may see even further challenges as we work our way through the year. Obviously, I've been tracking the rental data now for just a little under a year. I don't have a lot of historical information other than to tell you the point that I keep reiterating, which is that back in June of 2023, we had daily average inventory just under 4,000, and now we're consistently over 8,000. Does that mean there's many more people coming into the GTA and southwestern Ontario eating up that product? Potentially, yes, but there's a little voice in the back of my head that's saying this is a bit of an alarm bell.
Houston, we have a problem.
Anyhow, that's a quick wrap up of where we're at. Very important time of the year, what the year has in store for us. I think we're about to, uncover that in the weeks to come. And that gives you a little bit more insight into the numbers and the color coding and where you might want to sort of focus your attention depending on whether or not you're a buyer or a seller or even somebody who's renting or an investor who's thinking about renting. And that brings us to that very important part of the episode again. It's time to get a look at that inventory story. Hey everybody, happy spring. I hope we all get the luck of the Irish for the balance of the year. And until the next episode, this is Mike Brown with RE/MAX, uncovering the real state of real estate here in the GTA and southwestern Ontario.